everybody, and welcome to the CA Talks podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Purcell, and we have our co-host,
Kevin Carpenter. Glad to be here.
And our guest,
Evelyn.
Sebastian. What's going on, guys?
All right, well, how was your week, you two?
Very eventful.
How so?
Work.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of work.
We here at CA, we do work.
Yeah.
And we work hard. And we work to get it done, ladies and gentlemen. How are you doing, Sebastian?
I'm doing good. I had a good week. I had to take my mom to the airport. She in Missouri.
Missouri?
Yeah.
What you doing there?
Oh, it's just some church retreat.
Ah,
Yeah.
all right.
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
Great to be here.
Awesome.
Great to be recording the podcast. For you, the folks listening right now, this is actually the first podcast we're recording. The one that's going to come out first was recorded second, and you may know why I'm on that podcast.
right?
Yep.
This is episode 2. You're gonna see episode 1 first because that's how it works.
Episode 2 recorded first.
And
Priorities.
I've had a pretty good week too. Been busy working and most recently having the junior orientation, giving tours, and just making them feel at home.
Yes, and if we haven't said it already, to the juniors, welcome.
Welcome.
You're gonna love it here, and we hope you enjoy your stay at the College Academy.
Yes.
It's a great place to be.
The best school in Broward County.
Yes, the best
If
school
you
in
see me-
Broward College.
No, if you see me on campus, say what's up. I'll give you some advice, you know what I'm saying? Stay in school, do good, get good grades, you know what I'm
Don't do
saying?
drugs.
More opportunities, you'll get into a good college, it'll give you a lot of money, and you know what I'm saying? You'll be blessed.
All right, so of course we have our two special guests, and let's go and ask some questions.
All right.
So first of all, where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm from Colombia. I'm from the capital, Bogota, and I love it. I always go visit. That's a little bit about
How
me.
long were you there for?
What do you mean there?
How long were you in Colombia?
Till I was like 5. So my parents are both from there. They came here obviously because there's more opportunities. You hear the whole ramble about that, which is true. Like there's a lot of opportunities, and I'm very grateful for it. But
And how was transitioning to America?
transitioning, I mean, I didn't really see it because I grew up here.
Mm.
So I didn't really get the whole sort of, like, I have a friend who was born in Argentina and he came here like when he was like 13. So he really saw it, like he saw growing up there and then coming here. From what I can say is that here, I don't know if maybe it's a Miami thing, but there's a lot more materialistic. It's not as family oriented as over there. But you live and you take with it because over there's a lot of bad stuff. Like there's a lot of gang stuff from where I grew up. There's a lot of robbery. Like I literally gave my cousin a PS4 and it got robbed like 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And it's
Oh,
like
geez.
the cops didn't do anything about it.
Mm.
So yeah, I mean it's rough, but it's character development. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool.
Would you rather? This is definitely a tough question. Would you rather be living in Colombia or the United States?
When I was little, I always said Colombia because I very much vibe with the Hispanic culture and the Colombian culture in particular. For a lot of reasons, food, culture, girls. But it's cool here, especially in Miami. I could never see myself moving because I like the diversity here. And whenever I go somewhere else in the United States, the lack of diversity is like, wow, it's hard for me.
It is
I
scary.
don't know if you want to touch on that too.
What, the lack of diversity?
Yeah, and
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah.
They're missing out. They're missing out so much. Oh my god.
Where are you from?
Well, I was born here, but my parents are Mexican, so I'm Mexican.
Mm-hmm. And how often do you visit?
No, I've never visited.
Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
you still have the culture in your
Yeah, I
life.
still have it.
How so?
Just like the traditions, like the parties and whatever we celebrate, and the food, especially. And and the family dynamics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a big thing about Hispanic culture is the emphasis on family and just the bond that blood has in general. If you go to any of these places, they're going to be very much more more focused on community rather than like,
Yeah.
you know, rather than like success.
Yeah.
Like that to them, success comes from bringing other people up with you. You know.
I was talking with my friend about how, especially in situations like a neighborhood, like you just play on the streets and stuff, and like you have a good time, and you'll go over their house, their mom will make you dinner, they'll treat you like family. But like over here, like I'm cool with my neighbors and stuff, but I have some Hispanic neighbors that it is like that, but it's not the same. Like I don't know all my neighbors.
You're more
like
neighborly than friendly, like family.
Yeah, like
Right.
they'll just like, yo, you want food? Like eat, eat all you want. Like you could eat the whole thing. So it's really like a welcoming environment and culture.
And I can speak on the diversity as being fully white and having traveled a lot of the U.S. It is scary when you leave, when you were born and raised in like Broward and Miami, places where diversity is very evident. Then I go to like northern Michigan and it is all white people. It is
Oh, Walmart, not
Yeah, no.
not a diverse person to be
no,
found.
Yes.
I mean, it really just depends on where you go because I mean, America in general, like this country is an entire cultural melting pot. Really.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, like, you know, you can go to any country, you can go to Colombia and live there, but you're never really considered a Colombian, you know? But if you go to America, you're automatically considered an American because, like, immigrants made this country, you know? Hispanics, you know, African Americans, all these different people from different walks of life came here and made it the place that it is.
It is most definitely like a canvas, and each part is painted. Some parts are definitely like painted more white, and then there's other parts that are painted like more diverse. Like,
Right.
and if you look at that, it's definitely like near the coasts, near borders, and all these places where people were allowed to pass over and build families and connections. And unfortunately, there are people trying to remove like these great people from these diverse areas, which is just tragic and a shame, and it
Yeah.
should not happen.
I mean,
Right.
we're all human at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So, you know, just remembering that and like whenever, I mean, it's not to get political or anything, but just remembering that we're all human and we all just want the best for our families. There's a lot of people that sacrifice a lot for their families, and I thank my parents for that. Well, I don't thank them every day, but I always think about it every day because there's literally, I know Cubans who have swam and they have friends that weren't able to make it over. They swam all the way from Cuba just because of how good of an opportunity living in the U.S. was. People don't think about that. People are just like live here and they grew up here and they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm gonna move. Like, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot to be grateful for in this country. I think that's a big part of Hispanic heritage.
A lot of what's happening in the mainstream news has definitely like brought a lot of people down. But then you think about, like, if you just look one level deeper, how great America really is. I mean, if you look away from politics, you see what we're doing for the world. We have helped so many other countries, and as well within our country, these people live their own lives. To think of America as not, there is no one word that can describe Americans rather than living in America. As you said, if you may live in Colombia or Japan for as long as you want, but you're not really Japanese or
Right.
Colombian. You go to America, the culture is the melting pot of everything.
Right. There really is no singular American culture because it's just a mix of so many different things. But I mean, with that said, you know, you will have times where people will come over here and then they will start to kind of lose what they had in their home country a little bit. I mean, I guess it's a little tragic because like they'll come over here and then they'll kind of maybe lose some traditions. They might gain new ones, but it won't really be the same for better or for worse. Can you think of any examples in like maybe your friend circle or your family where just your culture in general has been Americanized?
I guess like the language. A lot of people like didn't grow up speaking Spanish or whatever language they spoke, so they kind of like don't have that part of them with them, or like, you know, they only speak English and things like that because they had to like, you know, learn English to even like really be in the country because there's the main language spoken or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing as she said. I have a good amount of friends who are Hispanic but don't know Spanish, and like some people are like, oh, they're not really Hispanic, like that. But you know, you can argue that they're more Americanized. I absolutely argue the same. But at the same time, you know, if your parents don't teach you, it's harder to. I mean, you're not gonna pull up Rosetta Stone after school. Like, all right, man, you're not gonna do that. So that's the way I see it.
Right, and actually, I'm kind of guilty of the same thing because my mom is half Colombian, half Dominican, and I can barely put together a coherent sentence in Spanish. I mean, she does bring the culture aspect as far as food. You know, makes lots of tostones, you know, arroz con pollo, you know. But I mean, and also the music, you know, lots of samba, lots of salsa, you know. But I mean, for the most part, our house is pretty Americanized. You know, you wouldn't really be able to tell just from talking to me that I'm part Hispanic. So, yeah, definitely, people kind of lose their way a little bit, but. You know, I think it's pretty easy if you really get down to it to kind of revisit your roots and get back to what you lost, right?
Yeah. How do you think? So let's go into some misconceptions. Now, a lot of people in America, like definitely in the parts like Midwest where I've never seen someone that isn't white. Do you think they're so? What do you? The best way to say this is, how would you explain the difference between, say, Colombian, Mexican, or Argentinian and Brazilian?
Okay. You want to start?
You can start.
Okay. I think I don't think here there's that much of an issue between telling that there's more to Hispanics than just Mexicans, because there's more diversity, you know what I mean? But there's some misconceptions, like I saw this one thing where it was some, I don't know if it was a podcast or it was a show, and it was really disrespectful. Like this lady, so someone was saying like it was about Trump and the immigration stuff going on, and she was like, Donald Trump, like who's gonna be cleaning your toilets? Like saying that about Hispanics. Like there's a lot of Hispanics who like I touched on earlier, like they have to sacrifice everything and they just come here. They might have been a professor back there, but they have to work in construction. You know what I mean? Work in the burning sun because they didn't have, and then all they want for their kids is to get an education. So, you know what I'm saying? Like they have it hard. So some of them are forced into positions like that. There's other people. There's very successful Hispanic people that live here. You know, like there's a bunch of Hispanic singers and stuff. Like we're not just, I don't know, like hard workers that just. I mean, we are hard workers, but I'm not saying like we're not just all construction workers. All like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, what was your question again?
So the misconceptions between all Hispanics being one, like what would the differences between cultures be?
There's so many differences, like just in the languages, the accents, the food, the things that they celebrate, the way that they are. There's like a lot of differences, and I feel like a lot of people just kind of put them into one group when they really shouldn't, because there's like, it's like so diverse, even just like that community.
Mm-hmm. And can you touch on how these misconceptions may have like affected your life, well, personal
life?
Yeah.
I don't really think about it too much because the way I like to see it is that I'm Hispanic. I'm gonna embrace it regardless of what misconceptions someone has, how they may see me. If they think I'm less qualified just because I'm Hispanic or something, I don't take it personal. I just live my life. I'm always gonna live it like that. But like she touched on, there's a lot of different accents. People, you know, like I can tell a Mexican from like an Argentinian or an Argentine for the most part. There's exceptions, but you know, we look different. We're not all like I think I look Colombian. I think she looks Mexican, and like, you know, I can tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with that?
Nothing.
But you know, we're all different. We're all like, think about it like America versus Canada or something. When you're comparing like Colombia versus Venezuela or something, like it's two different countries. There's a lot of different customs and stuff, and people definitely do not talk the same.
And also continuing with the whole diversity within the Hispanic culture, you also have the media and how they portray the Hispanic culture. What do you guys think about the way that you're represented as far as like, you know, movies, you know, like Encanto or Coco or any other movies or TV shows, as far as, you know, representing or portraying Hispanic culture?
I feel like they kind of like put in the same thing, you know, like you see the Latinos in like what's it called? Like TV shows and stuff like that. They're kind of like Spanglish, or like they have like a few Spanish words and like the rest of it is in English or whatever. Or if you guys watch On My Block, you know, did you guys watch it?
No.
Oh, they had
Give
like
us a brief rundown.
this Latina girl, right? But she wasn't really like Latina. Like they had her say a whole like Spanish thing, but she was like, I don't know how to say it. She didn't speak Spanish correctly or whatever. So yeah, I feel like they just kind of like try, but they don't really achieve it really well. But I guess like they're getting more people who are actually like Hispanic and Latinos who can like actually like show what it actually is.
Yeah, I would say the same thing that she said. There's a lot of, I feel like now there's, I don't know if it's because of the internet, but there's a lot more Hispanic celebrities and role models, I think. My old neighbor, she's like 70 or something. She's an old American lady, and she was like, and she knew who Bad Bunny was. I was like, what? Who told you this? It was like your grandkids came over and told you. But they're oh, that must have been because they have Hispanic friends. But I was shocked. I was like, wow, let's go Hispanic. That's a win for Hispanics.
And how do you think that they could, I suppose, fix these misconceptions?
Have like actual Hispanic and Latinos like show them what is real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the diversity and equity, I think it's called, is a big thing right now, and there's a lot of push for that. And I think eventually people realize that, you know, not all Hispanics are a certain way. I think ignorance towards like misconceptions, like the ignorance behind it, it's just, you can't really blame them. I mean, you can blame them, but the same way is because they grew up a certain way. Like someone living in the middle of the United States who hasn't seen Hispanics and sees one Hispanic might look at it that way. Because someone here is not going to be ignorant like that. They're like, no, I know Evelyn, I know Sebastian, they're different.
Mm-hmm. So
it's just a matter of having more Hispanics and more different positions, and then it'll just all fix itself.
And it's the stereotypes that are continually like reproduced in like popular media, where some people are portrayed as this way, some people are portrayed as that way. Do you think that there's any way we could, well, how do you think we could go around that?
I think it just takes time. And the more you see different Hispanic celebrities or whatever it is, you'll see different sides. You know, you'll see a Hispanic celebrity, it's like very inspirational. Then you'll see one where it's like, he did something bad and it's like, oh my God, he's a bad person, you know? Like Hispanics are people at the end of the day. There's some Hispanics that are great, inspirational people. There's some Hispanics like, dude, that was really wrong what you did, you know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't be doing stuff like that. So, yeah. And then the big misconception with Colombians, which I hate, is the whole cocaine, drug, like cartel stuff. What's that guy's name? Pablo Escobar. It's like, man, I'm Colombian. I don't do drugs. Like, it's not all Colombians do drugs. Drugs isn't crazy there. So, just one guy decided to, you know, make the whole misconception for us. But whatever. You want to touch on that?
Drugs?
Oh, nah. Talked about taking away the misconceptions.
Yeah, just like educate yourself, honestly. I mean, don't go into something with just what you know if you don't really know anything. You know, try to look for like the real information and what it really is before you like go into doing anything that's like, I don't know, not popular culture or whatever.
You heard it here, folks. Do your research.
Yep.
because I think that there's stereotypes and then actual information, and literally all it takes is like 2 clicks, and you could jump that wall, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people just take what they hear as fact and live their lives like seeing these people as enemies or seeing these people as people who do something wrong.
Right.
And I think that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
They label Hispanic people as drug runners when there's like more drugs flowing in and out of like Canada.
Yeah, you should be doing your due diligence whenever you hear something to make sure that anything that people assert as fact is in fact a fact.
Yeah. I mean, it's about having an open mindset, whatever it is, whether it's about your perception about Hispanics, whether it's political, whether it's your opinion on this or that. You know, when someone has something to say, listen, and if they say something different to you, look into it, and they may be right. You know, but just don't, because I think being ignorant and thinking that you're right all the time, that's a dangerous path to go down. And that's why there's so many misconceptions about Hispanics and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Don't be ignorant.
Yep.
Don't be ignorant. That should be our slogan.
That's the...
Of the day.
Slogan of the day, slogan of the episode.
Yeah.
Don't be ignorant.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, now to take a small break, we're going to go into our game segment, Fact or Fiction, where we give you a prompt and you have to tell us if it's fact or fiction. All right, fact or fiction. There are over 60 million Hispanics in the U.S. What do you guys think?
Facts.
That is
60 million? How many?
How many people are in the U.S.?
In the U.S., there is 350-something million people.
What?
Yes.
Did you not say 600?
Sorry?
What did...
60.
I said 60 million.
60
Oh,
million.
okay.
That's like...
I don't know.
That's like
That is
1 in
it.
every 6 people. Oh, that's a lot.
No, not 1 in every 6 people.
Yes.
That's like, no, okay,
360, 360 million.
Yeah.
60 million of
1 in
360.
Yeah, 1 in
Yeah.
6.
Less than 1 in 6. I mean, more.
Yeah,
more
we
than
have
1 in 6. Yeah, that's
1.5
no
Hispanic
cap,
people.
Cap.
Yeah?
Fiction. Fiction.
Fiction? All right, well, guys, that's actually a fact.
What?
There are
Let's go.
There are over 60 million Hispanics in the United States.
I'm happy I was wrong about that. I'm happy.
All right, number 2. Fact or fiction? Flamenco, a Spanish art form made up of song, instrumental, and dance music, is most popular in South America.
Fiction.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wait, no, in Brazil?
Wait.
Yeah, Brazil.
Hmm.
Is it? It might be Brazil. No, it's in Spain. It's Spain. Fiction.
Fiction?
Oh,
What do you say?
flamenco. I don't know.
What's in South America?
Countries,
You don't
North
know?
America, Central America. Okay.
people are
The
in South
countries?
America.
What was the last part of the question?
That is most popular throughout South America.
In South America?
Can we get a country of origin?
It's either Brazil or Spain. I'm thinking Spain.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a
I think-
Spanish art form.
Spanish.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in Spain do it.
You know what? I'll go with you. I'm gonna say Spain.
I'm gonna say
Okay.
fiction.
Fiction.
Yeah?
Fiction.
I'm gonna go with fact.
Okay, so you say fact, you say fiction.
Yeah.
Fiction.
All right.
This is
Well,
one
guys, this is actually fiction. All right.
What?
See, this is why you gotta trust me.
Flamenco is originally from southern Spain
Yes, sir.
and is
wow.
practiced throughout.
La Rosalia. Yeah.
All right.
I knew that one.
Number 3, fact or fiction? The largest Hispanic ethnicity in the U.S. is Puerto Rican.
No way. No.
It's-
I don't
Ethnicity.
think.
There's not that many.
Puerto
Puerto
Rican.
Rico is so small.
Yeah, Puerto Rican is small.
Small. It's like
But
2
it's
hour
a-
drive from one side to one side.
Isn't it in America?
It's,
I mean, like,
It's
The
not in
people-
America,
the
but
people-
it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
part
it's
of
a
it.
territory.
It's a province.
Territory.
They're
It's
like
not.
It's a territory.
they are like
Yeah.
citizens, but I wouldn't think that they would be like.
You know,
the
there's-
the
you know there's-
largest.
You know, there's more Puerto Ricans in the United States than there is in Puerto Rico.
I believe that.
No, that's true. That's
In
true.
the
You can look it
mainland.
up. You can look it up.
Yes. So I'm gonna
But
go.
I say fiction
Yeah,
because
I don't think
too
that's
small.
true.
Too small.
yeah.
Fiction.
All right, so we've got fiction, fiction, and fiction.
Yes.
Well, guys, yes, this is fiction. Mexicans at around 61.4%
Wow.
is the majority of Hispanics. Yep.
Oh,
That's a
wow.
lot of people, if you ask me.
That's a
That's
majority.
All right.
All right. Well, now we're gonna go on to our closing remarks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, next episode, we're going to have some great stuff. We're going to do interesting college essays that you could write, relaxing talks on movies, books, and more.
Tune in, guys.
Tune in to the CA Talks podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Carpenter.
I'm Ryan Purcell.
We have our 2 special guests.
Sebastian.
And Evelyn.
I appreciate the opportunity, guys.
Of course, this guy's our manager, by the way.
Hey, yes sir, yes sir. Tune into the
Let's
podcast,
go.
man. I create the ideas and stuff. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
I'm just
there's
a
something
special
cool
guest.
going on. Yeah.
Well, don't give him too much
She
credit.
cool too, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? It's a great podcast. Tune in every month or every 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Unless that changes.
There's a lot of interesting stuff going on. We're gonna have a lot of cool people. We're gonna have a
Yes.
lot of cool activities.
And we're going to have fun. I think that's the most important thing. We're going to
It's
have
gonna
fun.
be great here.
2023. Senior year.
Class of 2023, class
And
2024.
2024.
College Academy podcast. Tuning out. Thank you for tuning in. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.
Say it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.